If you want to make 2025 or any other year your year, then this video is for you. New Year's is one of the best times to set new goals and start on them because for once our environment is in our favor. Everyone is trying to start the new year on the right foot, which means you have the extrinsic and the intrinsic motivation to start. But that quickly fades away and we soon go back into our comfort zones. It's not because resolutions and vision boards are bad, it's just that we're trying to use them to actually get us to where we want to be, but they're not the solution. The solution is setting inspired goals, and in this video, I will share with you how to create goals that you'll actually pursue, how to stop giving up on your resolutions, and the mindset that you need to make any year your year. Let's dive into it. Hi, my name is Ollie. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. I aspire to be a friend and a confidant in your self-improvement and healing journey. Now, before we dive into it, I really want to know something. Do you think that the idea of reinventing and rebranding every single year is good? I personally think it's counterproductive, but more on that later. Why is it that our New Year's resolutions don't work? And I've struggled with this before, and I sat down to compare the resolutions that I managed to get done and the ones that I don't, and I came up with a few things. So first of all, before we even continue, stop, for the love of God, stop trying to glow up. We look at our vision boards and we think of how amazing it would be when we're that person, but we don't actually stop to think of the task that we're asking for. Every time we set a new goal, we're asking for so much hardship, frankly. When we choose to focus on how beautiful life is going to be after we reach the destination, we neglect how much work it actually takes. So when you start working towards them and you start struggling, you choose to give up altogether. So don't begin with the end in mind. Plan with the end in mind. Vision boards are amazing when it comes to two things: showing you the life you want to live and reminding you why you chose to take up this task in the first place. The vision board will show you where you want to get to, but now you need to sit down and strategize how you're going to get there. This brings us into the topic of how to set goals properly, focusing on the action and not the outcome. To properly illustrate this, I'm going to be sharing with you how I'm planning to make this year one of the best ones yet. Around October last year, I sat down and I was trying to visualize how I could be a better version of myself, what I want my future self to look like. And there was a long list, around 2 pages, A4, but the ones I can share here include having 1K subscribers on YouTube, having an athletic body and a flexible body, and being an overall stellar student. While all these things are amazing, those are not anywhere in my resolutions. To gain 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, my goal is I have posted 18 videos, creating 1 to 2 videos per week. This has established my foundation as a successful YouTuber. I know that it may or may not be possible to gain 1,000 subscribers, but my goal focuses less on that and more on an actionable step that whether or not I reach my destination, I have made significant progress towards it. I work out 2 to 3 times a week, and whenever I snack, I go for fruits, eggs, or nuts. These snacks are very nutritious, and so they're going to get me closer to my goal. So I may not look like an Instagram model at the end of these 3 months, but I'll have made significant progress. The truth is, we have no control over the outcome. When we hyper focus on it, not only do we create so many blockages towards manifesting it, we may also get so disappointed when we don't see results by the time that timeline has reached. Instead, when you break down the goals to things you can do every single day or every single week, when you compare the time when you set that goal and who you are by the time that timeline reaches, you have made progress. You are better off than if you hadn't set the goal in the first place. Starting is usually the hardest part, and now that you have that out of the way, you can go back to the drawing board and understand why is it that you got your results slowly or quickly and how you can make them faster. If you notice from me reading my goals, I write them in present continuous tense because I'm trying to incorporate that into my identity. In summary, focusing more on the action and not the outcome and setting goals in the present tense leads to a lifestyle change that enables you to become who you want to be. But even when you write the most perfect goals out, sometimes life just gets in the way. If we're lucky, our goals only make it into the beginning of March. For you, what is it that makes you give up on your goals? Does life just get in the way? Do you forget about them, or do you just not care about those things by the time a few weeks have passed? When I thought about it, I realized that for me it boils down to 2 things: lack of motivation, lack of time. The first remedy for this is set goals that you are willing to work for. I want you to sit down and think about one specific goal you have. Think about what it would take to actually achieve that. What would you need to be doing every single day? What can you handle in a week? Be as realistic as possible. Be as genuine as possible with yourself, because at the end of the day, you are going to hold yourself accountable. So for me, initially my plan was to post once every 2 weeks, but I know that is going to contrast my intention of growing a bit fast. In my opinion, it's a worthy sacrifice and it's something that I genuinely enjoy doing. I am willing to sacrifice a weekend off with my friends. I am willing to spend a few extra hours every single day studying in order to free up my weekends for doing this. Can you overcome these obstacles? So for me, one thing that has always been in my resolutions that just won't make the cut this time is improving in my music life. This has been such a big part of me. And that's simply because juggling between med school and being a YouTuber is already a lot. Last year, my goal was to build a social life, and I managed to do that. So it would seem counterproductive for me to throw that in the garbage just because I want to keep singing. It's going to just fall in under leisure and no pressure really. Sometimes we need to sacrifice and postpone a few things in order to balance life. People say we can't have it all, but the truth is you can. You can have it all, just not all at once. The second thing is, are they obstacles or are they excuses? Are you trying to keep yourself in your comfort zone? The truth is, you're allowed to put things on pause. You're allowed to live a soft life. That's okay, but understand that all choices have consequences. The moment you decide not to chase after something, the farther and farther away it goes from your current reality. Are you okay with the idea of not having that reality at this point in time? All is not lost. It will still come back to you at its own time. But for now, are you willing to let go of that idea? And now for the mindset shifts. The first one I'm going to say is you are not tied to a specific way of being. I came to realize that we choose not to pursue our goals simply because they don't align with who we currently are or because we're afraid of choosing a wrong path. I felt this a lot before I chose to enter med school, but the truth is I'm not tied to a specific way of life. Even as a med student, I give myself the freedom to know that I don't have to be a doctor after this. I want to, but I don't have to. If life chooses other things, that's okay. If I reach a point and I decide that the goals I've set now really don't align with me anymore, that's all right. Give yourself the space to change. Give yourself the space to experience all that life has to offer. Now, the second thing is you are never going to be perfect, so stop trying. The biggest example I can give for this is when you're on a healing journey. You keep trying to get better, which is a good thing as long as you remember that the person you are now, despite how unpleasant some of your traits are, you are exactly who you need to be. There is nothing wrong with where you are. If you choose to go after a goal with the mindset of I'm trying to change who I am or who I don't like who I currently am, you are more often than not going to fail because you are working from a place of dislike, focusing on running away from an unpleasant situation instead of running towards a better situation. The mindset is I'm okay with where I am, but I'm open to more. When you're acting from a point of trauma, we need to realize that that is not who we are. You're experiencing is so normal. It's like when we take a physical scenario, if a lion was to walk into this room, my heart rate would go through the roof and I would probably find a way to fit through my window. Why is it that we antagonize ourselves for having normal emotional reactions? The physical self and the emotional self are so surprisingly similar that if we just chose to focus on it and realize how similar they are, we would be seeing ourselves in such a different light. Realize that the reason why you have so many struggles in your healing journey is not because there's anything wrong with you. You've just been in an environment that does not allow your authentic self to shine. Number three is you do not need to reinvent yourself. Like I've mentioned before, you are not acting out of authenticity because of your environment. But second of all, we run the risk of repeating the exact same cycles you're running away from. The reason why something happens, whether good or bad, is to teach us a lesson, and as long as we're running from it, that lesson is going to chase after you, and I promise you it's faster. We keep asking ourselves why we're in the same toxic cycles with especially friends and relationships, but it's because after freeing ourselves from the toxicity and learning to love ourselves, we did not look at the part that we had to play in entering that situation in the first place. And sometimes it's not about abuse, it's not about disrespect, it's about does this person align with what you value? Now I'll make a video on that soon, but I still wanna know, do you agree with the whole concept of reinventing yourself? Don't be surprised if you see me with a how to properly reinvent yourself video, because I am so tired of people doing it wrong and then continuing to go into a downward spiral of hating themselves. I hope this video was helpful. If you did, please like and subscribe. But that's it for this video. Take care, I love you, and see you in the next one.